Hi folks, this is your MWIS Fleeting View as we look into the weekend. A much better prospect compared to this time last week. We've got broadly dry weather, light winds for many and relatively mild temperatures. The thing that we'll all be trying to chase then are the inversions, and that's going to be a trickier part of the forecast in terms of whether you've got some areas of fog from the valleys upwards or banks of cloud clinging to some of the hill slopes, and some of the higher tops will poke out above that into glorious sunshine. That will vary from place to place over the days ahead. Let's have a look through the details then, and what we need to see for inversion conditions is high pressure developing. Now at the moment and into Friday it's only just becoming established over the country, and that means that although an inversion exists in the atmosphere, it may not have come low enough to allow the higher mountains just to poke through. The cloud banks could just cling around the higher slopes. So Friday is a marginal day, a day where you'd prepare to be disappointed if you're going inversion chasing. The very highest of tops in the Scottish Highlands and the very highest of tops in Wales could just poke through the cloud layer, at least for a time. But overall, I think low cloud will cling to many of the upper slopes. Strongest of winds will be found across Scotland on Friday, very gusty in places again and up to gale force in parts of the north. Best of cloud breaks will be toward the eastern, more leeward side of the Highlands, where some sunshine will come through and that cloud will just break up at times around the hills. Across northern England, the cloud more likely to cover the fells most of the day, particularly in more western parts of the Lake District. Again, breaks in the cloud existing further eastwards around the Pennines. Lower wind speeds further south and generally light winds for Wales. Our area of high pressure expands a bit further northwards on Saturday. It may still be a bit of a struggle to get far enough into Scotland to give perfectly opportunistic inversion conditions. I think again it will just be the highest tops that will have a go at poking through above that cloud layer. Central parts of the Highlands perhaps best favoured. Further north you go, slightly more interfered with once again by a westerly wind pattern and the remnants of a front toward the north, producing some drizzly conditions around the northwestern Highlands. So here again, a bit of a poorer day overall with stronger winds. Further southwards, light winds overall, and for Wales, the Peak District into the Lake District as well, some variable banks of low-level cloud and fog from dawn. That will just tend to lift and break a little bit through the morning, will rise onto some higher slopes. Some of the high tops trying to poke through. The best chance of that overall will be across Wales. Sunday sees the high pull a bit further northwards, and by this time then a greater scope for getting the Scottish mountains to poke through above a cloud layer. Again, this will vary somewhat from place to place, and I think central western parts of the Highlands would be best favoured. Further north and northeast, just drifting around the high, again the remnants of an old front may just allow some of that cloud layer just to be that bit higher. Over England and Wales, largely just fog in the valleys early in the morning. Some of that will tend to lift and just develop into some banks of cloud on a few hill slopes. The eastern mountains of Wales perhaps just seeing cloud lifting upslope, but by and large the fog will tend to lift and disperse and will give some sunshine fairly widely. Just a strengthening, freshening easterly breeze across the Welsh hills, especially in the south throughout the daytime. Lighter winds compared to previous days widely over Scotland and also for northern England. All the while, temperatures will be fairly mild during the daytime, a bit cool first thing if you've had clearer skies and some mist and fog patches at first. If you've got opportunities to be on the hills next week as well, we'll still see that scope for inversion conditions as high pressure stays very much in charge. A quiet spell of weather taking us onwards into the week ahead. Just that easterly breeze once more across the Welsh hills is likely to be around. Light winds for many elsewhere, and temperatures staying fairly mild, with some chilly nights and some frost in the valleys and the glens to be expected. A quiet spell takes us onwards through midweek, maybe just some changes as pressure starts to fall late in the week, but confidence by that stage is quite a bit lower. All your local details for 3 days ahead, including the prospects for cloud and fog, can be found on our website. That is your Fleeting View. Thanks for watching.